Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Awesome Finds. Now, just like last episode, this is all new vinyl. Some of it was sent to me, but most of it I picked up myself. So let's get started. First up, I have this 7-inch from the Blankz. I really enjoyed this. It was sort of like 80s new wave kind of punk. It's got a real fun vibe about it. I really enjoyed it. And what's cool is that the inner sleeve here is a picture. You get the band right there and this classic car right there. And then you get lyrics for White Baby. And here is the record itself. Kind of plays on the Russian roulette idea. One bullet in the chamber. There's side A. And there is side B. I enjoyed this band. I hope they come out with a full length. The Blankz, check it out. Up next, we have the Cleveland Steamers with Best Record Ever from 2018 on Smogvale Records, which is a label I've really come to adore. I love this cover art. It's totally one of those 7-inch boxes, and I'm sure you guys have seen these before. And on the back there, it's kind of a Kubert sort of layout. Again, another one of those boxes. To me, this sounded a bit like the Pixies with a little bit more kind of a metal edge, kind of a bar rock feel. I actually really enjoyed this record through and through. I kind of wasn't expecting to, but it sort of took me by surprise. Inside it comes with this picture sleeve, but this is kind of advertising other records. And on the back there we have Record Rendezvous, and it comes on this blue vinyl. Here is side 1, mimicking the front cover. And there is side 2. I totally dug this. I definitely recommend checking them out. And if you guys live in the Ohio area and you've seen them, let me know in a comment down below what you think of this band. Up next, we have the last record from Fly PR. This is The Mystery of the Bulgarian Voices featuring Lisa Gerard. And I'll be quite frank with you guys, I wasn't expecting to like this. It showed up at my mailbox. I was like, oh man, kind of a folky record, like choir chanting. It's just not my cup of tea. It's probably not gonna be bad, but I'm not gonna really enjoy it. But man, was I wrong. Oh my gosh, this is really captivating. Yes, there's like choir approach, but it's much more than that. There's all sorts of really interesting elements going on. Like, to me, I heard this and I was like, this would be great for sampling. I was so impressed by this. Here is the Bulgarian Voices. I'll show you guys the inner sleeve here. This kind of gives credits on this side, and on the other side we have lyrics. Here is the vinyl itself. It's on 180 grams. And here is side A with some lovely label art, and there is side B. So yeah, The Mystery of the Bulgarian Voices. Definitely check it out. I think you guys are gonna really dig it. So up next, I got a record from Joshua from Utah. He's a fan of the show, and out of the kindness of his heart, he sent me this brand new, the Pink Panther soundtrack. This is the 50th anniversary edition on pink vinyl, which is so appropriate. I forgot how much I loved the music of this film. It is so good. You get distracted by Peter Sellers' comedy while you're watching the film, but the music is so good. It's Henry Mancini, and I love so much that he's done. He's done the Peter Gunn theme, Breakfast at Tiffany's, and there's just something about the way the music that he writes that just so jives with me. Now this is pretty faithful recreation of the original release. Let's show you the pink vinyl. This is so cool. I ended up putting it in one of these rice paper-like sleeves here, anti-static sleeves. Here is side 1, and there is side 2. I do have an original copy, but regardless, having it on pink vinyl, a real clean copy, I can't thank you enough, Joshua. This is so very kind. You didn't have to do this. I really appreciate it. Now, these next 3 records all came from barnesandnoble.com. So what happened was I did this interview with a YouTube employee. They wanted to get my input on some upcoming features, kind of changing up the interface from a creator standpoint. And it was about 45 minutes to an hour, and they paid me in gift cards. So I got one for my wife for Sephora, and then I got one from Barnes & Noble's because they sell vinyl, and I figured why not put that money back into the show. So these are 3 classic albums that I never owned, and now I am so happy to have them. First up, we have Diamond Dogs by David Bowie. This is a classic album. Opening up, check out that gatefold. It's got one of my favorite songs on here, Rebel Rebel. That song will get me into a good mood no matter what. It's gotten me through some tough times here, and I'm so thankful to have this finally, and it's a great reference to have. What I really like about some of these new reissues is that they've really taken great care in recreating all the little ephemera that came in these early releases. So you have a recreation of the original inner sleeve. It has Made in Great Britain on there. You know, it's subtle, but these corners are a real telltale sign. Actually, you know what? The record didn't even come in that sleeve. In fact, it came, where did I put it? It actually came in a nice poly-lined paper sleeve, which I was really impressed with the level of detail that they did with this. And just like these newer reissues, they take the classic RCA record label and put his name in there, Bowie, like that. Really, really dig that. Sounds great. I can't recommend this album enough. If you guys don't own it, you should pick it up now. It's been reissued many, many times, and you'll probably be able to find a copy for a decent price. Now, up next, I got The Velvet Underground and Nico, the debut album. This is so cool. I don't know why, but this record's always eluded me. One of my holy grails is to find an original copy with the banana intact. As you guys know, you can peel this off and it reveals a peeled banana in pink. It's a gatefold. You know, I think it pretty much recreates the original pressing there on Verve Records. And on the back there, I love these pictures here. I actually had never really heard this album in its entirety until I bought this vinyl. And it was a little off-putting because some songs I knew really well. Where's the track listing? Some songs I knew really well, like Femme Fatale, Heroin, Sunday Morning. And then the other ones I didn't. So I kind of went into it. It felt a little uneven to me, but the more I listened to it, the more I really, really enjoyed the album. I felt like, you know, sometimes certain records, you immediately like them. And then other ones, they take a little bit of time. And that was the case with this record. And I think that is part of the reason it didn't sell well initially. Perhaps it was too far ahead of its time. But regardless, I knew it was a classic album. I knew I needed it in my collection. I'm gonna cover it at some point. I should own it on vinyl just to really soak it in. So I'm so happy to have it now. It came in a poly-lined paper sleeve, and it really recreates those Verve record labels really well. I'm really impressed with that. And there is side 2. It's a real decent heavy weight. It's probably 180 grams. I don't know for certain. Definitely recommend picking up this album if you haven't already. Now, the last one I picked up was Piper at the Gates of Dawn. And this is the debut album by Pink Floyd. I've never owned it. This is the UK edition. This is not the US edition. They're slightly different. They have, I think, one different song between the two, and the track listing's different. Just a classic album, and this was one I immediately fell in love with. Love everything about this record. It's no wonder that Pink Floyd are who they are. This is on 180 gram vinyl. It's a remaster. I don't know much about it beyond that, but it sounded really great to me. It comes in this black poly-lined sleeve, which is a very nice detail. And look at those Columbia labels, really cool. Mimics the original UK pressing. If you don't already own this album, I highly recommend it. But if you do, let me know what you think of their debut album. All right, so now I got some new records from Sub Pop, starting with the latest by Father John Misty. This is God's Favorite Customer. And I got the Loser Edition, which this is a new thing for me. Apparently, if you pre-order records through Sub Pop, they have what's called a Loser Edition, and it's usually on some sort of limited edition colored vinyl. And in particular, this release has a tear on here. It's a metallic teardrop that actually goes all the way to the back here. And that's exclusive to the Sub Pop release. And I believe whoever releases Sub Pop music in the UK, they have a version of that. Now, I'll get to the record in a moment, but I want to show you guys this. really cool detail on the inside of the record that you don't really get to see that very well. And so let's look at the loser edition. This is, I believe, on purple. It's a purple kind of splatter vinyl. What's hilarious to me though is the labels say test pressing, and it actually has a sticker on here. I really like that detail, and it continues on the back there, just a real basic record label. So what's interesting to me is that this is a Reprise Records inner sleeve. I've seen this a dozen times. I can't find a regular copy of it, but basically it's Josh Tillman wrote on here all this stuff and on the back there. And I like the aesthetic of just this sort of a homemade thing, like Josh just gave you this, like, hey, check out my new album, and wrote all these notes on here. It's so in line with his sense of humor. I really enjoyed it. Now the music, I love this record. I love it way more than his previous record. The music on here is like much more in line with I Love You, Honey Bear. So if you guys are into that album, you're really gonna like this. Now another new record I picked up is 7 by Beach House. This is another loser edition. I love this front cover, this metallic rainbow opening up. Look at that. It kind of reminds me of Teen Dream a little bit. And on the back there, you get a 7 again. This does get scratched up, just to be aware. So you want to take care of the cover. Always keep it in a plastic sleeve so it doesn't get more scratched up. Now on the inside here, we got some goodies I want to show you guys. Now this I thought initially was the inner sleeve, but it's not. It's just an insert. And then this is the lyric sheet right here with some credits and whatnot. And then here is the actual inner sleeve right here. And then you have the track listings right there. Now this is what makes it a loser edition right here. This is the yellow vinyl. And again, you see that wavy checkerboard. Here is 7 right there, Beach House. So yeah, I really enjoyed this album. It was like an instant like. It felt familiar yet new, which I think is really hard for a band like Beach House to do because their sound is so specific. They're kind of like Interpol in that way, where if they stray too far, I think they risk alienating their fans, but if they stay too much the same, they risk alienating their fans, you know what I mean? And I felt this was the perfect balance between like old and new, and like changing up the tempo and changing up some of the mixing and some of the echo and just playing around with different keys and playing around more with minor stuff. I just really enjoyed this overall. I think you guys, if you haven't already, you should definitely check this out. Now, when I pre-ordered this record, Sub Pop totally hit me up and was like, oh, so you like Beach House? Why don't you spend some more money and get these other Beach House albums? Basically, the back catalog of Sub Pop released Beach House. I'm still missing their first 2 records, but I was like, all right, I'll go in on it because I only had one of them, which was Depression Cherry. The rest I didn't have. So I'm gonna go backwards in order, starting with their previous release. This is B-Sides and Rarities. It came out in 2017. I totally missed this. The cover art is very plain, but I dig it. You can barely see where it says B-Sides and Rarities right there. The inner sleeve mimics the front cover, front and back cover. You get a little bit of legal stuff and whatnot for each of the songs. But one of the reasons I really enjoyed this, this by the way was another loser edition. I think they had quite a few of these left over, which is why I got it on this clear vinyl. But one of the things I was so happy about was that this release includes the single version of Used to Be, which was the version that you hear in their music video. The album release was a different mix and recording altogether, and I just got so used to the music video version that it was really weird when I finally heard the album version. So I'm happy to have the version I like the most on vinyl. It's a nice sort of biography of the band. You kind of hear their very earliest recordings on up to more present day stuff. Sounds really good. I like it on this super clear vinyl. I think that's pretty special. And I'm happy I splurged and I got this album. Up next, I got Thank Your Lucky Stars from 2015. I completely missed this one. I was so focused on Depression Cherry, I didn't even realize this came out the same year. Now this is a little bit more heavyweight gatefold cover. I like the material that they used on this one. It's not like your flimsy sort of paperboard. And there's the back there with some stars. Here's the inner sleeve. It's just kind of your basic star field, but I like the detail in that. And I'll show you guys the record itself. This is a side A, just a real simple label. And here is side B. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, I haven't really given this record a lot of playing time. I've been distracted by other music I've been listening to. But so far, I really enjoy it. It's kind of more of the same, so take that for better, for worse. But I do like this. If you're a fan, you probably already own this, but if you don't, you should really pick it up. So included in a bundle was a copy of Depression Cherry. I already talked about this in length in a pick of the week that I did when this record was new. I love this fuzzy velvet treatment of the record itself. Let me open it up and just kind of show you guys in better detail. Just a really cool treatment. And there's some beautiful inner artwork, inner sleeve there. Here's the record. Rather plain labels. This is side A and side B. As for this copy, I'll probably end up giving it away at some point, or maybe I'll trade someone for it. We'll see. For now, I'm just gonna keep it in its sleeve and then see what I do from there, because I really don't need 2 copies of this. Next we have Bloom, and this is from 2012. This I had bought on Amazon a long time ago as a digital download only. I think it was like $2 or $3. It was a score, and I love this album. And I just haven't opened it up yet. It's a double LP, and I would love to show you what it looks like on the inside. I don't have. Well, you know what? We're going to open it up right now. I'm just going to use my fingernail. Actually, you know, I have a comb over here. You know what? Let's just do that. I'm going to open it up live on camera and show you guys, because I haven't even looked at it yet. Let's see if we can break this seal open. There we go. And I'm just using a comb, which I'm sure some of you are yelling at your screens right now. What are you doing? But it's fine. Don't worry. Yeah, let's take a look at this. This is just a single sleeve, kind of a boxy record cover. It's a nice weight paper there. Ooh, look at this imagery. There's Victoria right there. Looks like traveling shot. And got some clouds on this inner sleeve and kind of a swampy forest. Oh, look at that. They have sleeves within sleeves. If I can bust it out, that's really pretty actually. So this is record 2, side 4 and side 3. You get some photos of, looks like lyrics. That's pretty cool. Let's check out the records. They do not want to come out. Here we go. Here is, let's see, what is, oh, this plays at 45 RPMs. Cool, that's side 3. And there is side 4. And this is record 1, side 2, side 1. Again, these records do not want to come out of this sleeve. Here is side 1 and there is side 2. So yeah, Bloom by Beach House. I'm excited to revisit this record. It's been a long time. I haven't listened to it in about 4, maybe 5 years. And you know, I loved it then and I'm sure I'm gonna love it now. So last out of the bunch, I have Teen Dream. This came out in 2010. Oh man, I love the cover of this. This was their debut on Sub Pop. I really enjoyed this record when it came out. Opening up, you get the track listings. Real Love, I love that song. Zebra is fantastic. Norway, another one of my favorite songs. Used to Be, like I said at the top, I love this song, but not necessarily this version of it. And on the back there, you get a repeat of that kind of zebra, sort of jungle plant. I don't know how well that's showing up for you guys. Also included, we have this insert, and on this side you get all the lyrics, credits, and thank yous and stuff. Now what I thought was nice is that both records came in these poly sleeves. These are pretty trick, man. So here is record 1, with these really nice record labels. I like that. I wonder if this is even this could be a strobe pattern, these little lines going across. This plays at 33 RPMs. There is side 2. Here is side 3 and side 4. So yeah, Teen Dream, another classic record by Beach House. If you guys don't own it, I highly recommend picking it up. It's definitely one of their standout albums, but you know, coming from a fan, I like all of them, but this one especially, I think you can't go wrong with. All right, last up we have 2 soundtracks. The first is for Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Now you might be going, hey Geek, you already got that in the last episode. Why do you have another one? And why does it look different? Well, those are all questions that went through my head, so maybe you guys had the same ones. But basically, this came up on Enjoy the Ride Records, and they were touting this as the first time the score had been available on vinyl. I'm like, wait a minute, no, it just got released on vinyl, and it came out in 1989. What are you talking about? And then that's when I realized, oh wait, no, they said the score. This is the original motion picture score, not the soundtrack, but the score. So a lot of this stuff only recently was released on CD. This had never been released until a couple of years ago. Now, this was such a treat. I love this film. I loved it as a kid, and just, this is the missing half. This is a lot of this music that is being played by, I believe, David Newman, kind of rounds out the picture for me, because there's some incidental music that you don't get on the motion picture soundtrack, and it really, I think, is integral to the sound of that film. Now, unfortunately, a lot of these are incidental music pieces. So you'll notice some of these track times are 27 seconds, 1 minute, 45 seconds, a minute and 2 seconds. It feels kind of rushed as you listen to it, but the times when those like longer pieces like History Lesson and Prehistoric Pit Stop, when those moments come on, it feels a lot better. It breathes a lot more. So that being said, if you aren't as big of a fan as I am about the film, you probably won't enjoy this that much, and I would probably just recommend checking out those tracks online and just, you know, getting your fill that way. But what I really like about this release was this insert. Now, initially I thought, oh, they just took this art from the Mondo edition, but no, this is actually different. This yeah, is the same, but this back part is actually different. This is new, but you actually get all the credits of the people who played on this. But what I really liked is this information on here. This talks about the soundtrack, what went into it. There's a lot of really cool bits of trivia in here that I've never known about before. So that was such a treat to put the soundtrack on and just read all about the film that I thought I knew everything there was to know about it. Now, there was 3 choices when it came to the vinyl itself. I picked the Wild Stallion edition, I think, and it's got this pink and blue, and I just thought that looked so sharp. And I love this classic Bill and Ted logo right there. So cool. This is side A and this is side B. Now I feel like my collection of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure music is complete now that I have both the soundtrack and the score on vinyl. So cool. What an awesome month and a half that I'm having. I never would have thought I would be owning this stuff on vinyl in 2018. So cool. Last up, I have the original motion picture soundtrack to Kung Fury. Now, if you guys don't know about this film, it's a short, and it truly is an over-the-top love letter to everything 80s and just like bad puns and dad jokes. It's so much fun to watch. And the filmmakers really truly love the 80s. They grew up with it. I feel like I'm kindred spirits with these guys. Just a fantastic job overall. The first time I heard about this film was when I saw it. And so I was really bummed that I missed out on that vinyl soundtrack. And then when I went to go buy it, it was like $70, you know, used. And then so I was like, oh, it's too expensive. And now I tried going back and looking at it again, and it's double the price. And there's even a bootleg out there that was limited to 111 pressings. And even that goes for like $75. I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna pay $70 for a bootleg. Even though I hear it sounds great, in my heart, I just couldn't do it. So I got really excited when I heard about the pre-orders for this. Now this is a reissue, but it's got an extra LP full of what they call the lost tapes. Now this is extra music that was, I think, created for the film, and it either was in the film or they didn't use it, but either way it wasn't on the original soundtrack. So this has got all kinds of extra stuff. The one thing I will say though is I would have preferred to have the original cover. I'll show you what that looks like in a second. This is really cool, but I like it, but I like the original cover more, and I'll show you in a second why. Let's open up this gatefold. So here you have the original soundtrack right here, all the track listings, and this is the lost tapes. This has some incidental music. Now the inner sleeve for the lost tapes shows the original cover artwork, which you know, you guys can understand my feelings on that. This is just a beautiful piece of artwork. And on the back here, you have the first page of the script for the film. Now this is the inner sleeve for record 1, the original motion picture soundtrack, and it's got the full script on here. As far as I believe, this is the entire script on both sides. Man, I love that they included that. Now I'll show you the records themselves. This, let's see, this is the original motion picture soundtrack. Here is, here we go. Here is side A, and this is side B. This is the lost tapes. Here is side A, and there is side B. Now this thing took a while to get to me. It was pressed in Sweden. They notified me that it was shipping, and I think about a month later I got it. I actually forgot I had ordered this because the pre-order was so long ago. But what I loved, I'm gonna show you guys this real quick. What I loved is that it came with stamps on it. I never see this anymore. It's kind of something that's of a bygone era, I would say. So I really liked getting this box, and I just wanted to share it with you guys. So the music on here, oh my gosh, it is everything I loved. It is very much inspired by John Carpenter films. So it's heavy synths, and it's incredibly well done. It feels very much of the era without it sounding too modern. It makes me so happy when I listen to this soundtrack. It's really well balanced. It's just, it's one of my favorite releases of this year, or I guess it didn't come out this year. I believe it came out in 2015. The film did, and then this release is of 2018. So it can't be on my 10 best of 2018, but it's definitely my favorite, one of my favorite pickups of this year. I really encourage you guys to check it out, listen to it, and let me know what you guys think. If you're into 80s music, I think you're really, really gonna dig this. So anyway, that will do it for this time around. I wanna thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you think of my pickups down in the comments below. Until then, I am your Vinyl Geek, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Hey everybody, thanks again for checking out this Awesome Finds episode. Now if you want to see more, I put a playlist right there, as well as a video that YouTube will choose for me.